Welcome back to GSL Code A with Artosis and Wolf. We just saw Tails smash Roro. Kind of disappointing play by Roro, but Tails was pretty on top of his stuff, bringing Roro down to an area where Roro is not comfortable.
It feels like in Tails' play, he tries to put his opponent down first, and then afterwards, just as soon as he sees the moment where he can get a win, he just goes for it. Like, he's got this almost July Zerg-esque way of looking at exactly when he's got like lethal, like in Hearthstone terms. He's like, you're dead. I can.
Oh, now I
right
understand. Now. Yeah. Well, you know what? He did a good job. We'll see if he can win a PvP and get into Code S. First, we got to see Classic against Seed. Gotta say, I'm leaning towards Classic on this, but if Seed did his homework, there's plenty of Classic games to look at, whereas for Seed, how are you going to study how he plays? It's going to be pretty tough.
Yeah, the only thing you're going to be able to study is to go back and watch last season of Code S, where
it's too long ago. It like doesn't even count anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean, there was so much Daedalus Point. You know, that was actually like the story of Seed's demise. That was before Daedalus Point got changed, and he had to play some really tough matches there in a group that had a lot of Zergs. So I mean, I feel like it's almost impossible to really prepare for Seed, except from word of mouth that you might have heard from somebody else he's practicing with, leaking information.
That's about it. And then that is a crappy friend and practice partner right there.
Yeah, it does happen a lot, though.
So we'll see how this goes. Like, Seed is a very talented player. When he's on top of his game, he can beat anybody, as he is a former GSL champion. Classic, though, I've been actually wanting to commentate him more and more, because I love his play, except when he plays against State. But any other time, big fan. You know, he was a #1 first-round draft pick in StarCraft 1.
Yeah.
He was seen as, like, the new Terran in StarCraft 1. Eastro picked him up, I remember this day. And he was just so strong. Like, almost immediate A-team material and stuff. But it's interesting to see him switch over into Protoss. He's actually having, like, way better results than ever before.
Yeah, he's actually a great player. You know, if it were not Tails in this group, but even somebody maybe even more accomplished than Tails, I would say he has a better chance of getting out. I just feel like even if he wins against Seed here, playing against Tails is going to be tough. And then if Roro plays like he normally does, got great Zerg versus Protoss, it'd be hard for him to get out of this group. But he's, I guess, my third pick if I had to go with it. Seed, on the other hand, man, this has got to be a really, really stressful situation, because if he loses here, how many more times, you know, in his career is he going to keep going, keep losing in Code A, and not be picked up by a team, no salary, you know, no prize money he's getting? It's got to be you know, tough to keep going if you keep losing in Code A every single time.
I do agree. This is a really important match for him. He needs to get into Code S, man. If he doesn't get into Code S, I mean, people just kind of forget about him again.
Yeah,
he's like another sniper.
It's true, man. You know, he's just, you know, he's not Jockji, right? Jockji got that Code S win, but then he's gone and done things overseas, won a lot.
And even he came back suddenly and made a top 8 of GSL Code S last year. So, I mean, that's pretty legit. Whereas Seed hasn't had his day again in the sun, I guess. He hasn't had his 30 minutes. He only had his 15.
He only had 15.
And you need 30 if you want to keep going.
Classic looks disinterested here. Obviously, Seed has some sort of technical problem, but Classic does not look stressed out in any way about his opponent here. My hope is that no matter what, no matter who gets out of this group, Seed shows that he is still in tip-top form, practicing with his old teammates. You know, like you said, having those IM players to work with, the Epics Open, the you guys to play with, and you're just kind of practicing with all sorts of misfit players. Either there's this group of players that are all teamless or out on, you know, European teams, and they don't have like a team house in Korea. They all train together all the time. Supernova, for example, I know he trains with players from all teams all over the world.
Well, you know, when you're as good as Supernova or a former champion like Seed, you can probably just get practice games with almost anybody.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think he's going to be pretty well prepared. Still, I don't think you can measure that up to like what SKT1 has going on at their house.
That's definitely true.
For me, that is the ultimate team in StarCraft 2.
It certainly is. It's actually kind of shocking, the results in round 2 of Pro League, not able to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that was a bit off, but you know what, that can happen. Kind of disappointing as well, since in Season 1 they only got second. Or, no, wait, they got third, right?
They got second.
Because they got all killed by Zest. Oh, yeah, that was the final night.
Yeah, they got all killed in the finals. And unfortunately, Sue also lost the GSL Season 1 finals to Zest. So SKT, still a strong team, but like they had some hardships recently.
They have. But if you look at the stability of the team, it's second to none. Like, Sue, 2 second places in a row. The 3rd top 8 for Rain in a row, I believe.
Yeah.
That's, like, really, really legit.
That's why when you look at SKT in Pro League and you just like, look at that roster of players, you just go, okay, this is actually the best players in the world, the most consistent players in the world, all in a room together, practicing. How can this not be the best team?
You know, well, I think the missing link is Fantasy is not quite where he needs to be yet. They need Fantasy to be what he was in Brood War, and it's all over. SKT1's never losing again.
He's certainly kind of getting a bit of an upswing right now,
yeah,
I would say.
He's playing pretty well overall, but it's still a little bit off of what I want to see from him, you know?
Yeah, it definitely needs a little more time. I feel like Paralyze is somebody who hasn't really come into his own yet either.
Yeah, he was doing really well when SKT1 first switched over to StarCraft II.
Yeah.
And then kind of fell off for a bit. And I mean, he's still a very good Protoss. And when you're on a team like that with Rain, Parting Classic, etc., that's like you have every good Protoss in the world to learn from, basically.
It's hard not to grow at that point.
But the thing is, also, it's so hard to even get a shot to play because they're like, well, I mean, we have 4 Protosses better than you. What do you want here?
That's a problem.
We can't put you out. You're like totally B-team Protoss. Like.
And the other thing, too, is, you know, if SKT was still winning everything and they're at the top of Pro League, it would be easier for them to say, well, you know, we could put you out today because actually we have so many points ahead of everybody else. You know, they were like Jin Air in round 1. Now Jin Air is at the top. And if they were at that place, I think they'd be able to justify staying Paralyzed out once or twice just to give them a little bit more booth experience. Yeah. You know, Paralyzed actually qualified for Code S last season off of that crazy wildcard match that was played for like 13 rematches of the circle. So he's... You know, he shows that, like, offline, when he's in that type of environment, he will just play and play and play and outlast anybody, but not so much yet.
No, not yet. Well, we'll see if he can come back somehow and really show that skill again. Not that he showed, like, a ton of skill before, but, again, when Pro League first started up again, he was doing pretty well.
Yeah, well, no matter what, whenever he comes out, he shows that afro, and I do like to see that.
There you go, the afro toss. Good style. I meant to ask you about the hair of Tails, because it's no longer a strawberry.
Thank God.
Your thoughts?
That was like...
Do you like his haircut here today?
Yeah, it looks fine. Like, I'd rather see him go a bit bright orange like he had before, like at the GSTL semifinals before Vegas, when I think they played against StarTail, MVP versus StarTail. That was, like, the best hair he ever had. But he's always been one of my favorite pro gamers for hair because he pretty much will do anything. The tomato, though, that was... I didn't have anything good to say about it.
Nothing
I mean, it was creative, right? You know, look at it, wow, that's pretty interesting. But
yeah,
I could also put like a tattoo of an egg on my forehead. But then everyone would be like, wow, that's really
was
brave.
Was it a tomato or was it a strawberry? Because I thought it was a strawberry.
I thought it was a tomato, but
I guess both of them look pretty similar when you're only working with hair.
Yeah, I mean, the red was more of a strawberry color.
Yeah, that's.
But it just didn't have,
that doesn't
like,
necessarily mean that, though.
It didn't have a little, like, dots that the strawberry has, you know?
Yeah, but you can't do that, because you put the dots on one time, and then it just looks like crap the next time you try to put your hair up.
Yeah, so I guess... I feel like
actually think it was a strawberry, not a tomato.
I don't know. I think it was a tomato. I think he said it was a tomato.
Did he?
Yeah, I think...
But I'm not sure. It just looks so strawberry to me.
Don't tweet at me about
strawberry
it.
Strawberry is actually, like, one of my favorite fruits.
Yeah, I don't like fruit, actually, at all. So...
You don't like fruit?
Yeah. I'm trying to get past this. You know,
because we've agreed in the past about some things like ice cream.
Yeah, no,
not
ice cream
so good.
Is gross, but
no fruit. Like you don't like strawberries or blueberries or bananas or oranges.
None. Looks like we have an issue with Seed actually logging in, but that's actually to me like a bit of a relief. At least it's not a problem with his hardware or like the computer. It's just like logging in.
Well, don't try to change the subject, though. We got to get back to this. Like, you don't like any fruits at all.
The only thing like that I was not disgusted by or repulsed by, like when I was a kid growing up, was like raisins. I could just do that.
I like raisins a lot. I'm a pretty big fan of raisins.
Raisins like a fruit that's like had everything sucked out of it. It's like dried up. It's like the
What do you like the dried apricot pieces? A lot of people like those.
Nah, I don't really. No avocados.
You don't like avocado?
No.
You don't like avocado, so you don't eat guacamole?
No, I don't.
I mean, how are you even alive still? What do you eat?
Well, I do, like, for example, I like fruit flavors oftentimes, especially lemon. My favorite.
Do you like fruit roll-ups?
Yes. Yes. Especially fruit by the foot is the best.
Oh, this is so funny.
Especially the ones that used to have, like, the banjo
all those things
cheat codes.
All those things that say they taste like fruit but actually taste like plastic?
Yeah.
You like those?
I like those. You know, I think I might be able to eat a lemon. I almost tried it the other day. But
I don't think you're supposed to just eat a lemon there for flavoring.
But I look at it and I'm like, I don't know. I think I could eat that.
You like pickles then, I guess.
Only on my cheeseburgers. Like
so you would eat
McDonald's
a lemon, which is super sour, but you would not eat a pickle?
No. My tastes are pretty
Do you eat
strange.
vegetables?
Yeah, I love vegetables.
Oh, okay.
Like even Brussels sprouts, asparagus, green beans,
okay,
broccoli,
there we go.
cauliflower.
Now you're talking my language.
You know, lettuce obviously
Yeah.
is a given.
Well, lettuce just tastes like water. I mean, that's
Carrots.
anyone will eat lettuce.
Carrots. What else? Vegetables are eaten. I don't know. I like all vegetables basically.
Okay.
You know, cucumber's like technically a fruit, I guess, but like it has a vegetable feel to it.
Yeah, it's like a tomato in that regard. Actually, you don't like tomatoes though.
Yeah, I don't like tomatoes, but the cucumber I can eat it. Zucchini, squash, those types of like vegetable-y fruits.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like some exceptions.
Oh, so you do eat squash then? Pumpkin?
You know, I haven't really had very many opportunities. I think I'd like it.
There's a lot of pumpkin soup in Korea though. You must have run into pumpkin
yeah, I tried
soup.
that once. It was good. You know, I didn't dislike it. I've never like eaten any other type of like not like raw pumpkin. I don't know how pumpkin is normally consumed, but
do you like seeds and nuts?
Yeah. Pumpkin seeds are also like a
pumpkin
snack.
seeds are really good, yeah.
In
especially with
Halloween
some
time.
salt on them.
Oh yeah, that was. The thing about pumpkin seeds though is if you like crunch them for a long time, like it takes a long time to chew them up. Sometimes, you know what I'm talking about?
Not really, no. I mean,
like I always like would get like little bits of pumpkin seeds like stuck on my teeth, and I had to go brush my teeth.
Oh, okay, yeah, that'll happen for sure with just about any seed, I would say.
Yeah, I like peanuts a lot, cashews. You know, I. Sometimes okay with nuts in my brownies, but usually I prefer without, just because I like that soft taste without the crunch.
Oh, no, if I'm going to eat a brownie, it's much better with nuts, but I'm not really into brownies anyways.
Yeah. Do you ever eat like just a plain bean burrito from Taco Bell because there's no meat in it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really like Taco Bell. Like, fast food is just kind of gross, but I have eaten. I used to eat them, like, a long time ago.
When I was a kid, I used to
And I've had them since they moved to Korea, you know, sometimes, but not very often.
I used to eat those bean burritos as a kid all the time, just like when I was in a hurry. You know, I had to run into a fast food place, and I was always very serious about no onions in my burrito because that texture, you know, it's like a soft, you know, bean burrito, and that's like the onion crunch, and I'm like, ah.
Yeah. A lot of people don't like that, but I love the onions. I just fill up on onions.
Well, I guess most people do since they're in there by default. You know, I actually.
Well, I mean onions in anything. I just eat onions.
Yeah, onions are good.
Oh, okay.
I love to cook onions. Put them in my Pokemon. Been cooking a lot recently.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Mostly just like really, really simple fried rice type stuff. But I didn't cook in Korea for like almost 3 years, and suddenly I was like, you know what? I need to cook food. It's actually not hard. And it's really fun.
Yeah. I know what you mean. When you first moved to Korea, you're basically just eating out every single meal.
It's cheap enough.
Yeah, it is cheap enough. It's like not significantly more than buying food and cooking at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you eat the right thing. Like
it's super convenient too. I mean, most places are open 24 hours. You just whatever time.
And
you're
it's
hungry.
good, and they're better cooks than you are, and stuff like that. But eventually, you got to.
That's changing pretty quickly. And those Ajumas, they're not making the Pokeball as well as I am these days.
Oh wow!
Because I make it just how I like it.
Yeah, probably with higher quality ingredients too.
Yeah, that's what's going on.
No question.
So I don't know what's going on, but like I'm looking at Classic behind us. He's still looking. He really wants to join our conversation. He's just sitting there.
Clearly, we're so fun. Of course he does. Well, hopefully we get it started pretty soon. The map is going to be Overgrowth, another one of our new maps.
Yeah.
I'm really glad that they brought in King Sejong Station.
I really like it.
I watched that so much in Pro League, and it's really a good map.
It was actually, you know, making a lot of jokes with some of my friends about, like, why is this map called the King Sejong Station? It just looks like some ice base, you know, like, and it's King Sejong, by the way, made the Korean written language. He's, like, a very famous, you know, prominent figure here in Korea. There's a big statue of him in the middle of the city, but there's actually a base on Antarctica called King Sejong Station.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's actually, I can't believe I didn't know that, too,
and
because
that's
like Korea plus Antarctica, two of my great loves mixed up.
All right, it looks like we're finally going to this game. Our first Protoss versus Protoss Classic versus Seed here at the GSL Code A.
That's so awesome. Wow. All right. Down in the bottom left.
Classic.
There we go.
There he is.
Hard to tell who is who there.
Now we know. And teamless to the top right in blue. It's
C.
You know, I do have to say that, like, a lot of maps do get named after places in Korea.
yeah.
For instance, Shin Peaks of Baekdu.
I knew you were going to mention that map.
Yeah, and obviously now King Sejong Station. There's another one just recently. What was it called? You know what I'm talking about, right?
It's like totally out of my mind, but
very recently there was like another mountain chain or something that was named on a map.
oh well, there was Gwangali Beach. For example.
Yeah, there was that one for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just drawing a blank on this one, but
Well, anyways, back to my original story that I wanted to say. I predict in about 100 years there's going to be no famous places left in Korea to name a map after. They're just going to have to recycle through. It's going to be like the American movie industry where it's just all copies.
yeah. Well, you know, I mean, we're already starting to get maps that are called merry-go-round, for example. Maybe it's starting artists.
Well, maybe. Okay, so pretty excited to see how this map goes. Looks like Classic actually scouted for any proxies, whereas Seed absolutely has not scouted for any proxies at all.
And, you know, it's funny because Classic is very recently unknown proxier.
Well, against State.
Yeah, well, when you're a foreigner first time in Pro League, you might get cheesed. Could happen.
Most oftentimes. All right, so Seed is going to be the first one to actually scout across the map. And we're just going to have to wait and see what builds these guys actually want to go for.
Yeah, he's just going to come over here and find out, you know, basically how much gas has been mined, and like if there's a second gateway, there's not much else to see in PvP. Also find out, like, you know, I guess in this case, since he didn't check for proxies anywhere else, not even behind his mineral line, he might come in here and be like, oh my god, there's no gateways in here, I'm in trouble.
Well, Seed gonna go in and see that actually a Stalker being chrono boosted out now. Kind of interesting to see.
Well, actually, it's a Sentry, but he doesn't know that.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, of course.
He doesn't know that, so
yeah.
And he's not going to see it either.
Do you think this is going to be a fast expansion by Classic?
Makes sense. You know, with this type of rushed Sentry, you know, you build a lot of energy. It also gives you a faster hallucination scout.
Yeah. Just when I see a Sentry first, that's definitely something that comes to mind.
Yeah, it's pretty vulnerable, though, especially because his mothership core just hasn't built up enough energy just yet.
Yeah, like, you can get out the quicker Sentry, but that means it's a slower mothership core, because you can start the mothership core right away, chrono boost, so you get that few points of extra energy that can help out, but he's going straight into a Robo.
This is like a build that looks like it's just so greedy that it has to be like crisply worked out and well-practiced for this map.
Well, it looks like something that's going to be quite safe unless your opponent's going for a Stargate, I would say, right? Because he's going to definitely put on some pressure. He did do a 3-Stalker rush, but we don't see a proxy pylon yet, which means it's not like he can just like force a kill here.
And once that Nexus finishes, he will have enough energy on the mothership core, most likely.
Yeah.
Fake Oracle goes across the map. I don't think that's going to fool him, but can get some scouting. And let's see here. He's got enough units here to fight before that Nexus is complete. Without the Nexus completing, he can't use the overcharge, so he's just zoning him out here a little bit.
He's trying to keep that mothership core, you know, at bay just a little bit. In the meantime, he does add a Nexus at home, realizing that he can't really stop this. He can just kind of damage it and slow it down a little bit.
Yeah, if Classic makes a mistake and loses the mothership core, that's the only way.
All right, well, that was probably never going to happen at this level of play.
Of course.
You'd have to be
to be a Roro and lose your Overlord to a cannon to do that.
Or as Todd told me, Rotterdam and lose your mothership core randomly. Anyways, we have the first Immortal about to pop out. Some more gateways being added.
Really good position here for Classic now because he has the tech he needs and his Nexus is up and mining faster.
And he's starting a second Immortal immediately here. I'm actually kind of interested in this build.
I wonder what these sentries are going to be for that Seed is saying down. I mean, he is the Illusionish Protoss. He has used hallucinations in the past. I don't know. I think this is mostly going to be for Force Fields, but with a Nexus cannon.
Well, this is actually a very old build. Does he have, how many gateways does he have right now? This is this is an older build where you actually run in with a 5-gate opener generally. And actually, he's only going up to 4, but that's okay. You run in and you force field the army back, and you just target down the Nexus. But it looks like instead Seed is just going to lose a bunch of units and his mothership core.
Yeah,
not looking so good so far.
He wasn't prepared with the extra warpins. He does pick this Stalker off in a Sentry, it looks like, but he needs to do more here because he's completely forgone tech with this. And with only those gates and also the probe cut.
Well, it feels like he has to make this work. He's got 5 sentries now. Let's see what he can get done. Oh, those force fields, not really the best. I'm not too impressed with that.
He's got no way out here, too, Artosis, with the mothership core being gone. He's just going to lose everything. And
as long as these Immortals actually target reasonably well, they're going to take out every Stalker in a matter of seconds here. And this has been held very easily by Classic. But you know what? The build itself is actually a pretty strong build if you just run right up. Like, for instance, if he had stayed on 1 gate, you know, sometimes we see people get really greedy and go like Forge and Twilight and stuff and then add their gates. If it was something like that, he could have actually broken the Nexus. But against a 3-gate, plus the Immortal was already out, and he was in position too. Sometimes they're standing behind the Nexus, you just make a little wall and you laugh and you kill the Nexus. But
well, this is an interesting way to transition. Double Stargate.
May as well, right? He lost a lot, and there's 2 Immortals out already.
Do you think he's just going to try to max out Phoenixes here? I mean, not max out, but, you know, just try to get Chrono those out and try to come back that way? Or do you think he's, like, going to desperately try to get Void Rays out, hold, and then counterattack or something?
It's a good question because he's in bad shape, and either one has the potential to bring him back. Let's see. Against those Immortals being already out, like, the longer-term play is the Void Rays, but it's also more dangerous in some ways. The Phoenixes, I feel like, can actually bring you back into the game a bit quicker, and actually an Oracle to start.
Well, that's definitely going to maybe get him some... definitely maybe.
Definitely might. Possibly.
Definitely
if the situation is correct, get him some sort of kill.
Get him something. Get him some vision at least. He's going to lose this this pylon that powers 4 structures here. And, you know, that he may even lose the second one that's being remade if he targets it now. And he starts a Void Ray. I like the Void Ray choice because... it's the most surprising, but it's also the riskiest one because if you get scouted, it's super easy to respond to that.
Yeah, yeah. And will he have enough as Classic moves up here? I don't think he's going to die to him. But if he gets a good amount of Void Rays before Classic really figures out what's going on, it's so strong. If you just have enough Void Rays that their Stalkers don't do anything, you crush the battle and you're way ahead.
Yeah, he's going to go maybe do some Oracle damage. Maybe probably over there to the bottom left. Yeah, he's absolutely, maybe, definitely.
He's making sure that it looks like a hallucination. But here we go. He is actually attacking in right now, Classic. But with that Nexus Cannon and the Void Ray and some pretty reasonably placed force fields, it looks like he'll hold off. A little bit of a sloppy attack there.
Yeah, Oracle gets 4 kills, meanwhile, back at home. The main base defense here is solid by Seed as well. And you know what? He may be able to turn this game around yet. He gets like
6 kills. I believe 1 might have been a Stalker.
I think so. I think one Stalker. 6 kills in total, so maybe with the Probe Scout. We'll never know for sure, but I think he killed a Stalker.
Yeah, I believe so, because it worked in right underneath. But, okay, at the end of this, 42 probes to 45 with Seed in the lead there, and Army Supply is pretty similar. More Void Rays on the way, though.
The perfect response, I feel, to the Void Rays is just Charge Zealot Archon. The Archons are going to deal with the Void Rays reasonably well if you open a few Stalkers to help them out, and the Void Rays don't do bonus damage to Archons. And the Charge Zealots are going to clean up everything else on the ground.
Wolf, I got to ask a question.
Sure.
In your professional opinion, should Classic respect the Void Rays?
Yes.
Okay.
I think he is. Now, I think this has been a problem. Many a programmer not respect the Void Rays. Many a Zerg, especially. Many a Corruptor.
Many a Corruptor has not respected the Void Rays. All right, we do have this Immortal drop coming out, actually doing a great job. Can deal quite a bit of damage. Got a good amount of probes right there.
Yeah. And even, dropping some Zealots in here, going to be annoying. He's actually going to kill so many more probes.
Yeah, you know what? That was very well done. Of course, he does get chased off. Now, how long do you stay on Void Rays, do you think? Do you just commit and be like, I'm going Void Rays. That's my composition. My composition is Void Rays.
If you're on like 3 or 4 base, maybe you could do that. But here, I think he's going to have to stop pretty soon. And maybe even start adding in his own Archons. Because, I mean, Void Rays can do great against Stalkers and Colossi. They destroy them. But the Zealot count is getting pretty high here. He's going to need something to buffer. There's a few Archons. That one Colossus is going to do basically nothing. Same with the Immortals if he targets them down.
Thing is, I don't think he can target down the Colossus necessarily. You know, I guess he could right-click on it real quick, but that's going to make Void Ray's Clump, which makes the Archon shots a little bit better. But there's 2 Archon 7 Stalkers. I'd feel a little bit nervous going in against that.
Well, he's going to have to do it, right? His opponent's got a third base up, and compositionally, his Void Ray, he doesn't have enough money to make it the best Void Ray comp ever, so he's going to do what he can. Now, here comes some feedbacks. Or no, actually, Charged Zealot's coming in. Thought he was going to try to feedback Mothership Core. Mothership Core goes down regardless.
And you know what? Those are actually some really nice force fields at first. He is taking out some Archons. 2 of them falling down already, but at the end of the day, there's just way too much anti-air here for Classic.
Yeah, once you get those first Warpins of Stalkers and after the Archon's tank, it's all you need, and that's going to be it.
It's quite a nice hallucination as well, and just Classic has too much. Seed, he took some gambles there, right? He went into the, like a 4-gate, try to kill your Nexus force field wall, which, first off, if that doesn't work, you're in trouble. Not only did it not work, it got crushed. He went into a double Stargate. The Oracle, even though it got like maybe 5 probe kills, maybe 6, he didn't really execute it right because he was being attacked in 2 locations at the same time, so it's understandable, but like, let's say that had gotten 10. Like if that was perfectly controlled, that could have killed, I bet you, 12 probes.
Yeah, it could have killed so much more. Could have been saved later. No, I wonder, you know, how emotionally affected. See, his hand is shaking. You know, you can see that. I feel like his play in that first game, there was so much more potential there, and he played a little bit sloppy, and I'm worried about him because if that's your game 1, if that's your first game going into a group like this, things oftentimes get much worse.
Well, all right, you know, we've talked over about how this is really important for Seed to go into Code S because he doesn't have a team, he doesn't have a lot going for him right now. People keep forgetting he even exists.
Yeah, I mean, this.
Do you think he's stressed out? Do you think he's playing nervous?
Absolutely, man. And you know what? I would even go as far as to say, I will go as far as to say, if he doesn't get out of this group, we may never see him again. I think he might be done.
Wow, that's a strong.
I mean,
statement.
he has tried so many times. You know, I know him very well. You know, I saw exactly how motivated he was, how well he practiced on Daedalus Point last season. And when he came in and showed up, and he just still wasn't able to get through. And I look at this guy and I think, you know, this is like, you know, one of his last chances, I feel. He really has to. He's got, you know, so much pressure on him. How long can he continue to be a pro gamer that has, you know, no team and he keeps losing? I mean, it's tough to continue on.
Yeah, you have to have a lot of fortitude to do it, man. It's a tough thing. We'll see how long he can last if he doesn't make it through. But you know what? He's not out yet. He brought some cool strategies with him. They didn't happen to work out this time. I think Classic is actually maybe the strongest player in the entire group. So for me, if Seed is to get out of this group, it's probably 2nd place to Classic, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's see if he can bring us to a Game 3 or if he's going to get knocked out 2-0 down to that loser's match here by Classic.